Hello and welcome to the video. Once again, my name is Wade Daniel Smith, and this video is about what would it look like if Americans actually obeyed God. Um, if Americans actually obeyed God, because we have under God in our Pledge of Allegiance, and we have in God we trust on our currency, but nobody here actually worships God. So, what would it actually look like if Americans actually obeyed God? Well, first of all, if Americans actually obeyed God, the present date life, which is the adultery and fornication life of the United States, would not exist. And the present LGBTQ nonsense in the United States would not exist. Because if Americans actually obeyed God, we're supposed to stone all of those people to death at the mouth of 2 or 3 eyewitnesses. So those people would not be living the lifestyles that they're living right now. They'd either be dead or they'd actually be obeying God. If Americans actually obeyed God, abortion would be banned under penalty of death, and LGBTQ nonsense would be banned under penalty of death, and adultery would be banned under penalty of death. Not to mention murder and rape being automatically banned under penalty of death. If Americans actually obeyed God, nobody would be a Christian because the Torah, the law of Moses, tells you in more than one place that God is not a man, nor the Son of Man. In particular, Numbers 23:19. God is not a man, and man is not a God. That's also told you in Genesis chapter 3. The very first two sins that Adam and Eve committed were illegally eating of the fruit that God commanded them not to eat, and then calling themselves gods in the flesh. So Christianity did the exact same thing that God cursed humans for from the beginning, which is to claim that man is a god and worship a man as God. So if Americans actually obeyed God, we would ban Christianity under penalty of death because it is blasphemy. Thou shalt have no other gods before him. Not, and also in Isaiah, he says there is no God before Jehovah. There is no God beside Jehovah. So there's no Son of God or Holy Spirit beside Jehovah. And there is no God after Jehovah. Again, there's no clone God and there's no Son of God. He said there is no God after Jehovah. And Paul elevating Jesus above God himself is definitely blasphemy. And yet you Christians think that's a good thing. Supposedly, around 70% of Americans claim to believe in the Abrahamic God, and yet we have a divorce rate that is incalculable. We have everybody, and I mean everybody, is an adulterer and a fornicator or an LGBTQ or both. Everybody, you all are. I think I'm the only virgin man I've ever even heard of in the United States. You're all a bunch of devil worshiping hypocrites, but you claim to be worshiping God. And you think you have a God given right to murder your own baby. Freaking genocidal maniacs. Americans have murdered almost 3 times more innocent babies than the total number of people killed by the Nazis in World War II and leading up to World War II. The Nazis killed approximately 50 million people in World War II altogether, including 6 million Jews and about 3 million gypsies. All right. But Americans have actually killed over 120 million innocent unborn children since Roe versus Wade, and that number is rising faster than I even know how to keep up with it. You've murdered almost 3 times as many innocent people as the Nazis in Germany, and our ancestors put the Nazis to death for crimes against humanity. So, what do you think they should have done to you women who murder your own children? Abortionist murdering whores. because you're too lazy and godless and evil to even love another human being.